Welcome. Today we're going to shift from probability, simple probability, to some statistical data. And I'm going to do a review lesson today, something you should have had before. We're going to learn about mean, median, mode, and range. So now just remember, the mean is just a mathematical word for average, and that's when you sum all the numbers up, get all their sum, and then divide by how many there were. The median is when you, and most importantly, when you find median, you have to put the numbers in order from smallest to largest, and then if there's an odd amount, you pick the middle number. If there's an even amount, then the median will be the average of the two middle numbers. So if there's an even amount of numbers, there isn't a single middle number, there will be two middle numbers and you find their average. But if there's an odd amount of numbers, then there is a middle and you just pick the middle one. The mode is just the most frequently occurring number. So you don't need to necessarily put them in order. You just need to count the frequency of the numbers. You know, if 7 appears 7 times and no other number appears more than that, then 7 would be the mode. The range is always the difference between the largest number and the smallest. So again, you just find the largest number, you find the smallest number, and you subtract that smallest from the largest. So the range actually ends up always being a positive number. If you ever get a negative range, you've done something wrong. So let's look at some of the problems I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you start with 2 because I want you to, since I'm hoping this is review what actually the mean, median, mode, and range is, I also want you to get familiar looking at bar graphs, charts, tables, and being able to interpret the data in the table to find what they're asking for. Like for instance, this is what is the range of the numbers? Well, remember, range is just the largest minus the smallest, so this should be fairly simple to do. We look down and we notice the very largest number they have is a 9, the smallest number they have is a 1, and so 9 minus 1 is 8. The range is 8. Okay, here, again, another range one. So let's quickly do this. 10 is the largest, 1's the smallest, 10 minus 1 is 9. So hopefully range is like one of the easiest ones to do. Okay, now here's a mean. Now, and this is in a bar graph. Now the bar graph, if you'll notice, the only place I see numbers is down here on the bottom. So again, what they're looking for is on Thursday, they had 4, okay? On Friday, they had a 5. On Saturday, they were a 10. On Sunday, they had a 5. And on Monday, they had a 6. Well, what was the mean or average of these numbers? So again, I would highly recommend you have a calculator handy, and so you can just quickly type in those numbers. So remember, we had a, I'm just going to type them in, 4, and add them, by the way, 4 plus 5 plus 10 plus another 5 plus 6. So I look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 bars. The numbers match up. So I'm always checking. I take the sum. And then since there was 5 numbers, I divide by that 5, which means, you know, the 5 represents how many numbers there were. And I get an average or mean of 6. So again, another bar graph. Now, there is no bar here, but we got to count as one of our data. So if we were finding average, we'd actually divide by 5. Here we're finding the median. Now remember, the median is the middle number, but we must put the numbers from least to greatest. So again, the smallest number I have is on Friday, which is the smallest number I have is on Sunday, which is a 0. Then I have a 4 on Monday. Then I have a 6 on Tuesday, and then a 7 on Monday, and I think I said that was Monday, Friday, Saturday. But you get the idea, right? So on Saturday, we have an 8. So it looks like there was 5 numbers, smallest being 0, largest being 8, but the middle number was 6 on Tuesday. So I type in not 5, but 6. Again, another longer bar graph. It says, what is the range? What I love about bar graphs when it asks for range, I look for the highest bar and find its number, which is 10. I look for the smallest bar, and there's 3 bars that are equal for smallness, so it doesn't matter which one I use. There's a 3 is the smallest number anywhere in this data set, so 10 minus 3 would be 7, would be the range. This one here is a dot plot. And now we got to be careful that we realize what they're talking about. So when we talk about the mode, the most frequently occurring, don't think that, hey, look, I got 2, 2, 2, and 2. 2 is most frequently occurring. No, that's not how it's represented. 1 happens twice. 2 happens twice. 3 happens 3 times. 4 happens twice. And 5 happens twice. So which one happened the most? 3 did. It happened 3 times. So 3 is the mode. So you always are going to use these numbers down here when you're putting things in. Here is a line graph or a point plot. Again, don't worry so much about the lines connecting the points. What you're going to worry about is if we're looking for the median. Now again, median is the middle number. I'm going to list these numbers from least to greatest. So on Saturday, there was a 0. So again, I put a 0. And then I had a 1 over here on Tuesday. So I have a 1. The next one as I'm looking up is this 3. And then as I'm continuing to go up, I have a 6. And then I luckily have these last 3, a 7, 8, and a 9. 7, 8, and a 9, just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. And there was 7 days in a week, so 7 numbers. And I wanted the median or the middle number. 3 in front, 3 behind. The middle number is 6, is your median number. Right? So hopefully this will go very quickly for you. The next thing I want to talk about is how the mean, median, mode, and range are changed when you either add a number or change the value of a number. So again, it's getting you to understand the definition of these without necessarily doing all the math. So like for instance, here it says we have these 8 numbers, 31, 17, 83, 19, 55, 73, 65, and 37. It says how would the median change if the number 22 replaced the number 65 in this set? So now we got to be very careful here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list those numbers because I notice they're not in order. The smallest one is 17. Then I see a 19. So I've done the 17, the 19. The next one is 31, and then 37. So 31, and then this 37. And then I have a 55, and then a 65, and then that last 83. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. And so I've missed one, obviously. Let's see which one I missed. 17, 19, 31, 37. Oh, I didn't get the 73. 73. So I'm going to put the 83 down here a little bit and scribble this into a 73. Oh, good. The 3 ends the same. All right, so 73. Now I got all my numbers. So again, I always verify to make sure I have them all. Now, the first thing I want to do is see what the current median is. Now, remember, median is the middle number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since there's an even amount, remember, according to our definition up here, if there's an even amount, you take the average of the 2 middle numbers. So I'd take the average of these 2. I don't even want to take the time to do it, but now what I want to do is I want to see, okay, now if the number 22 replaced the number 65, so this number here is going to go away. And I'm going to put in a number 22. But 22 is going to be down here in between 19 and 31. So if I put a 22 there, then these aren't the 2 middle numbers anymore. What happens is I have the 17, the 19, and the 22 below the 31 and the 37. And then I have the 55, 73, and 83. So these 2 now become the median. The median is going to go down. It dropped from in between 37 and 55 to being in between 31 and 37. So it decreased. So it adjusted the order of my numbers. Here it says, how would the mode change if the number 6 replaced the number 3? Well, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 6s. And nothing more than that. So I already have the 6 is already the mode. And if the number 6 replaced the number 3, I'm just putting more 6s in there. So it's not going to affect the mode at all. I have even more 6s. So no change to the mode if I added more 6s. Okay, how would the range change if the number 87 replaced the number 43 in this set? Well, the range is only going to change if we either replace the largest or the smallest number. So let's find the smallest number first. 43. Yep, 43 is the smallest number. The largest number was 96. So my range would be the difference of those two. I'm not going to necessarily calculate it. But now it says, how would the range change if the number 87, right, replaced the number 43? Oh, so this is going to go away. My smallest isn't my smallest anymore. My smallest is now going to be not 87, by the way. What was the next smallest after 43? The next smallest is 48. So now I've done 48. So my range, which used to be bigger, is now smaller. There's a less distance between 96 and 48. So it's going to decrease. So again, this is getting you to think. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to think. And I know a lot of you struggle with the, you just want your math done. But part of getting ready for life is to problem solve and be able to solve these things. So I'm hoping that this will get you to take the time to critically think about what you're reading. How would the mean change if the number 17 replaced the number 71? Well, this is actually an easy one, because now let's think about what mean is. Mean is the average. So if I'm averaging all these numbers and I take away 71 and put a smaller number, if one of the numbers is smaller, the average or mean will go down. If one of the numbers goes down, the average will go down. So again, some of these should go very quickly if you think them critically through your head. Hopefully you don't have any issues with this. Do the best you can. If you have any questions, please contact me, and I will definitely try to help you.